Hey guys, happy 420. Today we're going to talk about failed drug tests and some expungements. So quick right off the bat, last time we spoke on Wednesday, I had brought up the idea of social equity and saying that there is a possibility or there's a way where we can separate the idea of marijuana legalization with the idea of expunging records of past convictions. And to me, that seems like a no-brainer because then they're not kind of both needing to piggyback off of each other to exist. And in Ohio, they're doing exactly that. So in Cleveland, they had just announced that they are expunging 4,000 convictions of marijuana, and these 4,000 only go back to 2017. So after this, they're going to continue going back in time and finding more and more that they can expunge. So this is great news. I hope more and more cities see this and take action themselves because, again, this is something that can just happen anytime. And now that we see in many states it legalizing, then this is a no-brainer. Like, we should be doing this all the time. And, you know, to be fair, we are. In the past recent months, there's been over 2 million expungements of records. This can be much, much bigger because there are so many convictions in the country. But we are slowly going down this path, and it's a great idea, and hopefully it won't then become something that's such a huge part of the marijuana bill, so the marijuana bill can kind of exist on its own. Secondly, I guess it's not surprising that the Army and the Navy have very, very strict views against marijuana. They see it probably as something that somebody who's disciplined and hardworking does not do. Nobody smokes marijuana if you're a hard worker in their eyes. So it's very on brand of them to be extremely against marijuana, and their drug tests are pretty intense. For instance, there is a new Rockstar energy drink that is hemp seed oil infused. It is passion fruit, it's whatever. I haven't had a Rockstar drink, I don't think ever. They don't seem very alluring to me, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is, this drink, since it only has hemp seed oil in it, the Navy reacted so strongly to it that they put out a memo to everybody in the Navy, to every member of the Navy, saying that if you are to drink this drink, you will fail a drug test. And this is not a mistake on their part. This is exactly what they want. They don't want you drinking any hemp because, and again, this is where it continues to be more and more of a stretch, they're saying that hemp does not go through the official FDA regulations, therefore it can still have some THC in it, making you high. And they don't want to deal with any of that, they don't want to risk it at all, so they're just saying that hemp is also going to fail a drug test for the Navy, which is a crazy thing, and further away from the reality of how everybody sees marijuana. Let alone hemp, which is legal in all of the country. To say that you can't ingest something that's actually legal in the country is wild and certainly unfair, because now it's in energy drinks, and you may unknowingly do it because it's not necessarily something that you go seek out. It may just be a part of a drink that you have. So I found this very fascinating, and it gives a really, really kind of good view into what they see or what their priorities are when it comes to drugs. That being said, also, it's unlikely that you would actually fail a drug test with just hemp seed oil in a drink because it has no THC, and that's what they're testing for, THC. But I think they're just trying to knock some fear into people and make sure that they don't even try it. An exact quote from them goes like this: "Sailors and Marines are prohibited from using any product made or derived from hemp, including CBD, regardless of the product's THC concentration, claimed or actual," and that's the key part, claimed or actual, "and regardless of whether such product may lawfully be bought, sold, and used under the law applicable to civilians." Claimed or actual. So they're saying, yes, they may claim this, but because it's not FDA regulated, then the actual THC levels will probably be different from what is claimed. It's a bit of a silliness there, so that's our silly story of the day. And of course, it is New Music Friday. There are 2 big releases on my radar today. One is from Father John Misty. He is kind of a huge indie folk figure of the 2010s. He had such a huge presence looming over everything, and his music is very vast, very self-aware, very existentially based. Also, he has this kind of silky smooth voice that a lot of people like, and his performances, I saw him I think in 2012, and his performances are awesome. He's been away for 4 years now. The last album he put out was 4 years ago. He hasn't had any kind of interviews or anything, so there's a lot of kind of curiosity as to what he's bringing up, and this album that has come out called Chloe in the 21st Century is the biggest left turn you could expect maybe from Father John Misty. And that's neither a good thing nor a bad thing, although I'd say it's kind of leaning towards a bad thing, because this album is very, what is the word for it? It's very old-fashioned, I guess I would say. It almost sounds like something you'd hear at a circus, and then also it almost sounds like something you'd hear out of a 1970s folk record. Both being rather boring sounds. I don't think that this album reaches for anything exciting. Even the lyrics, which usually he kind of shines the most, they all just sound like they're kind of talking about a very typical experience that most people have, which is not what you go to Father John Misty for. That being said, it might very well be a grower, and I might kind of find myself revisiting it more and more, or it's something I just don't entirely get. Maybe there's this concept behind the whole album that I can't quite read into right now because it's the first day that it's out. But that album to me is a bit of a disappointment at this point. Second album that has come out today is by Vince Staples, who is a rapper who has been just one of the most consistent rappers ever since his first album, Hell Can Wait, in 2014. He's usually trying to push the boundaries in some way. However, in the last few albums that he's put out, they have not been so boundary pushing and much more reflective based. That's especially true of last year's album, self-titled Vince Staples, and then this new one, Ramona Park, what is it called? Ramona Park Broke My Heart. It just came out today, and it is equally as reflective, yet a little bit heavier hitting. I think it's really strong. I think it's something that I can't wait to listen to again, because there's a lot to unpack in this album. He also is just as strong a writer as he's ever been, maybe more so. So this one I highly recommend. It's super good. Vince Staples' release is always going to be something special, so this is great that this came out. The Father John Misty one, not so much. Cool, and that's our show for today. We'll be back next week. I'll see you then.